All right, folks, let's get right to it. What's going on? Welcome back to a Summer Tuesday. Let the people give them a chance to kind of catch up with the program and come on in. What's going on, chat? Great to see everybody. Yeah, what's up? Username, you're first. Hey, username, why don't you get with me over on Discord and let's get the promotion out of the way. Get that 30-day package, my man. User, I don't know if you have it or not, but since you were first, I'm in a giving mood. I'll give away a 30-day package, and I'm gonna have a promotion. I think I got to run something. A couple people were asking me for a discount. I think I'll do a promotion starting Thursday. I'll have some information on that. But user, hook me up. User three, name the first person. You were first. You guys send me your TradingView username, email, full name, and I'll say with 30 days and a 30% discount. Everyone else, get over, send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. It's slow. I get it. It's summer slowness, although kiddos are back at school. What I want to talk about is what's to come here. We've got a lot to get into. We're on the edge, everybody. We're really on the kind of the verge of what I think is going to be a larger continuation of what started in March. I no doubt it's going to get some little bouncy here. Nasdaq down 475 right now, and I expect that. Listen, we continue to be squeezed between 4-hour signals. All right, this was last week. Up there was like 30,000, 230, and we're back retesting some arrows down here at like 29.6, maybe as low as like 29.450, 460 as we make our way up. And I'm not really, I'm not too concerned. I'm actually thinking about where are the opportunities. Let this kind of retracement, another just zigzag within what we've talked about for the last few months, continue as we build our way into what I think is going to be 60 days from today, a big kind of character shift in the market. And and yes, that's up. And yes, that's continuing what we've been doing for years. But we're coming into it, and it's going to be interesting to see how we shape up over the next 60 days. Right now, you're range bound. You've been range bound since our June triggers. You guys remember, end of June, I said park it for the summer. As much as I would love to see a rip roaring summer rally, it's just, that's not what the market triggered. And you go here on the daily, guys. This is the other thing that is part of the reason why the action is still contained. We're back up against some HSI action where I said on Thursday we needed to roll over. Well, that's happening today. All right, now we're rolling over down to the 50, and that helps us to understand the range bound limits of the current action, which is, believe it or not, it's a lower trigger like 29.8, and then the last HSI dot 28.650. And these are within normal expectations. So great to see everybody. You don't always win. I don't know, man. If you won before, then forget about it. What's going on, Greg and Sigma and Victoria 276 with the new handle? How you doing? Mr. So Fun, E-Funk, Wayne. What's going on, guys? What are you guys doing for your summer, midsummer? Anybody get to the beach? Anybody having fun by the lake? I'm already back in school with my son. We had a great trip last week to Disney. It was really good. It was really good to get away. Disney's kind of a joke itself, but family fun time. He loved it. So that was enjoyable for us. and now he's full on back into it, and it's cool. I get my days back. Not that I miss it, I miss him. I loved having him around all summer, but I think it's now I'm shifting back into it. Told you guys my July was pretty funky, and so be it. So be it. It's how it goes. It's life, right? We got to keep moving on. Anyway, for today, down 445. What are we doing now? Anybody, everybody. I think we're up against a little headway here. I had a short earlier today. I knew five. I was up here at 678, and that was about it. I think we've got these 5 second patterns on 8 harmonic pattern collection have been absolute fire. Right now, we got something at 665. I think the larger lows. Let me show you this, just so if you're looking at it, we're back here retesting some prior patterns from last week, actually a week ago. It's a crab pattern. Too much garbage on here. Hold on, let me get this. Just way too much on here. Let me take off this. What's it, the VWAP or whatever? Take that off. Come on. And that's it. I mean, again, you're not expecting. Today's like the first day we've seen where we've got more than 100 points in either direction. So looking at this, where 583, that's a big number for today. Currently 663. You probably get a little overbought. A little oversold bounce off of here. I am still, and this was my earlier plan, was looking for 780 this morning. Nothing, didn't give it up. It's still a possibility for today. But you got to look at this lower for now. And how low? Like, this is the thing that, I'm really kind of gauging now, thinking about that we will get into the situation where we'll have some kind of retrace going into October, 60 days from now. My brain is like splitting this market up between now and then after October. Where will we be? And this is a lot of markets. It's the stock market, gold, silver, even Bitcoin. I'll say that, Bitcoin, so that the bots will pick it up. Bitcoin. But it is a definite change coming. Feel the wave for sure. We're seeing it in the patterns, and even like where we're at now. So there's the 4-hour time frame. This is the bigger possibility. Okay, harmonic pattern collection kicked out this beautiful bat pattern from end of July down at 27,460. Just to refresh your memory, the exact pattern alignment that we have been dealing with since the end of June was this. Okay, and what it is that's a 786. So this is a butterfly. I still don't know why. I really thought the software should pick it up, but that's a 786. So the extension is a 127. And I'm thinking this is a type 1. Okay, there's the type 1 dot to dot. We should have a rollover. That's where we're at. I mean, volume still is weak, and will pick up probably in a few more weeks. But it's going to be like that. And then, can we get the retest? This is what we all should be thinking with the larger picture, and come back and retest it, and then we could launch. I mean, really launch. I'm looking at this. I wanted to highlight this as well. Software is kicking out a number of interesting triggers, signals, but I think it's all early. Remember, we had arrow, diamond dot, and now's a check back. All of that on the weekly. That's capping the current action, and that's like 27. 29,950. All right, and we still want to be looking at where's HSI, up or down, below the 50. What I think is going to really trigger here, again, we're looking for maybe a return, a little rollover, but that won't begin in earnest until our larger amplified breaks the 50. I thought this was a pretty successful test. And again, I'm not looking for anything major. If we had a 10% retracement pullback, consider it an opportunity. Seriously, I just think there's a lot of bear porn out there, so to speak, and I just don't think you can really look at this market, look at these charts. I mean, look at the S&P 500. That's your primary market up here, and we're printing some bearish signals. Retrace, kind of temporary overboughts on the SPY up here, 770, 780. But the longer term dynamics, okay, and don't be fooled, folks. I mean, this generational bull market is not anywhere close to triggering anything that is anything else than you're looking for the next retrace. And when that next retrace comes, let's go. Couple others. What happened? What's going on? Where are we now? NQ right now. NQ 660. No biggie. Happy to look at what you guys want to get into today. And welcome back, everybody. We're here Tuesday, Thursday. We do harmonic patterns, the framework, harmonic strength index for a reason, because it works. And that's really what it's all about. So get over to harmonictrader.com. All of that foundation materials for free, and get with the software. I think that's, that is the primary tool. Like you want a software program that's going to show you framework, help you explain overbought, oversold, reaction reversal. That's it. So I'm happy to entertain what you guys want to look at today. I'm going to keep it a bit loose. I looked at a few things over the weekend, maybe one or two new symbols. I think what I should really get into here before any stocks is let's dig in on gold. Because I think what's the situation on gold and what we're doing really is extraordinary, and it's leading. And I told you guys over the last month that 39.90 was probably the low, the nominal low, for like kissing the 4K level, doing some stabilization, and then turn around. And to me, that's the biggest opportunity in the gold market in about 3 years, since the last time we triggered some dots, arrows and dots, oversold continuation. I just think this is, I know it's early, and you might be like, all right, what am I missing here? It is a massive trend continuation, kind of barn burner, if you will, that this gold rally that started the better part of 3 years ago, I mean, truly in earnest, the breakout above the 2K level, that was the start of a new generational kind of extension. And gold's down 50 today, but 44K was our first target objective, and we never got the development. Like, we were looking for gold to get above the 50, and that was like here, and even here. I get, where was it? It was like it wasn't like, it was like March, April, and HSI has been just stubbornly oversold for a while until we came to last month. And that was a massive breakout weekly, even monthly, guys. This is even bigger. To me, the monthly signals have been the real make or break. Like I've been looking a lot for what are the big swing opportunities where HSI is telling me, dictating, okay, this is where the massive kind of super cycle trend continuation will move from, and that's it. I think what's going to go down with gold is you'll get a positive month. Remember, June, July, August, seasonal low turnaround for precious metals. December, January, February, cyclical peaks. And this is shaping up perfectly. Where gold is just, it's early stages. But what's going to happen is this will pop out probably next month and we'll have an arrow that looks like that. I was discussing this yesterday to my group. And so, spot price of gold, whatever vehicle you want to look for, just consider this acceleration about to begin within the next 60 days for sure. I love silver too. And I think what you're looking at, I mean, the gold chart is better than silver, but the minimum assumptions I've been saying for months now, again, puts gold back above 5K, 52, 5,300. Let's say January. I think it'll happen by December, but it's kind of a bold call. But that's what we do here. We pick the levels, we outline the framework, and go for the character. And this character is about to change in a major way for gold. So do whatever you want with that information. I want to be on record. Kind of we use this time to outline framework, strategy, and pick the best of the best opportunities, and that's a place to be looking at. Great to see you guys. What's going on? Pepe Shaker wants to look at the BTC daily trigger. I can look at Bitcoin in a second. It doesn't change, and Bitcoin's got, by every traditional cycle metric, Bitcoin's got 60 days. I mean, I do think that Bitcoin, I have a lot of problems with it. I have a lot of problems with it. Fundamentally, like getting your cold wallet hacked because they can tap into your seed phrase or whatever. And Michael Saylor, who says he'll never sell Bitcoin and then turns around and tells you, I said for you not to sell your Bitcoin. That's just weasel shit. That's like real weasel shit. But that's what these guys do. That's how do you think they got so rich? But that's okay. What I'm looking for, I love the patterns, I love the framework. I'm looking for the signals. And here on the monthly chart, we will get a dot with a bullish close. And that is the thing that is maybe the starting point, okay, in the whole process. I am still using 39,000, which is the 786 retrace off the cycle. That is my objective. How the hell do we get there when we're stubbornly sitting here at 60 something K? I mean, that's the measured level, guys. 39K, a scratch under 40. But I will say the dot here would be maybe like a step one or even a step zero in the whole process. Looking at the software, respecting every monthly signal. So the daily trigger that you're speaking of, okay, is just this. It was an HSI from yesterday. That's it. That's all. And we're still range bound. We haven't done anything all summer. So I'm not worried about missing out on anything, and all these people that tell you you're stupid because you're not buying Bitcoin when it hasn't done anything. I don't know. It's been total turn off. I have not posted on X. The last time I posted on X was SpaceX. I'll go to that in a second. I think I needed the break, the social media break, and that's probably the best way to go. I don't think it's a daily trigger. Just to kind of follow up, And and I'm still looking lower. I'm certainly not strategizing any longs until I get those clear signals. So 64 is a number, 39 is the measured level. Let's see how that shapes up. Anything can happen here in the next month, 2 months. We got 60 days. You have 60 days for the for Bitcoin for sure. And then we could like maybe think, all right, well, if that does hold, if it's not going to do the 786 for the first time in its history on this bear cycle, what do you do? We'll consider it from there. Okay, couple new stuff. Back to the stocks. You guys, I really love the developments in gold. Bitcoin is a 60-day character. What about SpaceX? What's going on with SpaceX, everybody? SpaceX 106.40. This was like probably the best lined up opportunity all year. Okay, I'm still long. I'm going to hold it. I think even if we retrace to 129, I don't think I'm selling this thing because I'm looking for a big pattern low in, like this. And, in fact, I'll add, what I want to do is I want to really build out 300, 500 shares, something like that, and sit on it. That's really what I like. Put it away, and just and ride this for the next year, 2 years, 3 years. And I'm thinking if this is the post IPO collapse, which it is, come on, we went from 225 all the way down to 105.40. Our daily trigger, guys, this is why you get the software. You stop screwing around. You can play it. You can pay for the software in one trade like this. All right. But, look at what I posted on X and look at the last couple of live streams from back in July. 106.40 was the retest. The green line retested. And then it was 10 days ago? I was like, that's a go. And 105.11 was the low. And now you're 146. And that looks like, to me, that was like a bull flag continuation, not really anything. Look, amplified is above the 50. HSI continues. That's a daily chart. And, I just think everything about how we laid out SpaceX, which is even when it went in the IPO in early June, I said, let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. Let it come back to the 886 of that range, which it did. It was like 145 or so. I said, all right, we start looking at 145. The signal came in at 105. That's okay, because that's where we took action, at the signal. Arrow, dot, diamond. We check back and we go. Even if I was treating this as if it wasn't, wasn't SpaceX, it was Space Y, I don't know, I would still be looking on the top side. Some kind of arrow, dot. There's nothing here yet that tells me we're done. And I'm looking for this to really be a permanent low. I don't see how there are people out there that saying SpaceX will go to 60, or even I've seen people, folks, if you see people do this, like just indiscriminately, hey, here's my chart. Oh, I think SpaceX is gonna go to 20, and the chart looks like that, and then it's gonna go without any context. I mean, just run from that. I mean, it's a absolutely waste of time. There's really nothing there that would say that this is anything more than, look, 50% correction off the all-time high. That's how you have to think about it. Beyond that, people that are absolute bears on SpaceX, you're going to have an issue. They're going to be left in the dust. So that's that. What else? What are you guys looking at? Adobe. What's up, Jeffrey? We'll get to Adobe in a second. How about a couple other people? CBRS. Hey, that's a new one, right? That was something I literally just put on my screen this weekend. I was looking at a bunch of those new ones. They're down 33 today. Good. That was an IPO, Cerebras Systems. There's a bunch of these in the digital data center software area that came IPO. I've got a couple of them. I'll post them up. Um, this is another IPO 886 correction. Comes out public, sells down. Well, there's the first dot that we've seen. That's like 215. This went to as low as what, 160? Where's the 4-hour time frame? Yeah, the 4-hour time frame, listen, pattern wise, 247. It's a type 2, so I would say as low as 193. Software is kicking it out, folks. Look, this is how it works. Type 1, target 1. So 227 to 208, and then back down, kind of an ugly, less than ideal, but that's still, look, here's the T2 right there. So, and it just had some ugly overspill. Confirmation was there, clearly reacting. Go to 193. Talk to me at 193. Let's get Jeffrey taken care of with his Adobe. Is there life back in the software stocks, people? Because Adobe was crushed. 4-hour time frame, meh. Big bat pattern. But you gotta take this back. So Adobe's like this, and Adobe was crushed. Okay, I mean, it was an amazing runner right up until COVID hit. And then it was a type 1 and a type 2, back-to-back patterns. So you got to think both of those patterns worked out in ideal fashion. Maybe we shouldn't ignore the bat down here at the hop. Look, bat pattern on the weekly at 223, arrow, diamond, dot, checks back. 223, a massive. That's massive. And I'm going to go here and say, all right, the most recent action, maybe that's the first time you've really been on an upswing above the 50 level. So for me, Adobe is in a much better spot where I would start to consider it. Not to mention, here's the monthly. And guys, big winners, okay? How are we going to find those big freaking runaway winners? You look at these charts and you say, shit, I wish I would have bought it back there at 200 and now it's 600. It's on the monthly. It's monthly dots with hop patterns and stuff like that. Not to mention, I'm going to say, where's HSI? Where's Harmonic Strength Index? Because that needs to cross the 50 level for us to expect anything happening. And that's happening. That's happening. Even if you're looking at like a 3-bar range, for me, that's another standard technical. That's nothing new, but it's a very helpful technical consideration where you break out of a 3-bar range no matter what, something's going on. And so I would say your 266, what I'd be looking for next month is get that continuation above on amplified. And 436 is a viable target from here. So I'd say the story in Adobe has changed with this month's action. Last month, we barely scratched the 50. This month, we're above the 50 on the monthly, folks. So you got it. And also, there are a number of the software stocks that I think they are turning around. The ServiceNow, we've talked about this. That's above the 50 now. And then you look at the patterns. Do we have patterns looking left? Yeah, look, beautiful crab pattern, 109. with the hop level at 82. Those are things we've been looking at for a while. What was the problem? They weren't getting out of the zone above the 50, and we're still in a downtrend. It looks like we're going to actually print a bearish dot. So that tells me against all this support, there's plenty of time. You're 120. Okay, I'd look for a retest, maybe 109, but that's something to get on the radar. Like if you find yourself back at like 109, let's say we have a retracement, right? Let's say everyone gets, total bear porn, because that's all it is. They just, people want to go gaga over like things that, they're just in total fear of. But let's say we get a quick oversold situation and service now is back at 109 or, even like 97. That would be it. That would be like the end all be all area that this weekly or monthly turnaround. Like you just need to buy it once, right? I mean, there are those stocks where, look, if you're in the right spot and you're buying it, and let's just say it this way, ServiceNow or Adobe or a lot of these that have been around for decades. Look, what is this? It's a 2 or 3 year cycle retracement. We've seen it. You go back to 2021 all the way to the low at 2023, turns around from 70, okay, goes to 230. How do we get there? We go with the oversold signals that the software kicks out. I mean, it's like the number one thing I can implore everyone to get this tool. I think it's a technology. I got to say this. I started the harmonic pattern ideas. It was 30 years ago this summer, and it was to the Gartley group in Tucson where we'd get together. It was a trade station group, and because people couldn't get their trade station software to work, so people got together to complain about it. And I went down and checked it out on a friend of mine, and then started sharing some of the ideas, harmonic pattern stuff. That was alignments. There were, people talking about a Gartley, but people were saying everything's a Gartley. Like, okay, there's a Gartley. I mean, that's verifiably a Gartley 786. But they were also saying, oh, well, this is a Gartley too. And that's where I started saying, no, that's not a Gartley. You got to treat these differently. And then from there, we nailed the alignments. I was able to refine it and then realize, hey, reaction. Most of these patterns have a reaction and then a retest, reversal. And then, as I said this last week, and then with the kind of the indicator stuff of like, all right, I need to look at some kind of indicator to know when it's relatively overbought, oversold. That is an important tool. No matter what you do, you need to understand to some degree like how far a market has moved. Is it overbought? Is it oversold? Is it a reaction? Is it sideways? Okay, ServiceNow and a lot of these software stocks, they got hit hard in the last 18 months, but this is big opportunity. It's early. The other one, let me give you two more ideas here. Workday, guys, which already had a big move. But again, Workday monthly, we've got massive oversold, and even on the monthly, those are both above the 50. And if you go back here, all right, we're dealing with short-term shark. So I would expect this is 193. I'm looking for a retest to 148, but it's because of this stuff. Software is kicking out massive patterns looking left. 141. And I know we looked at this back in June, because we were down here with really sweet confirmation. Arrow, dot, diamond, and then nice move. That was a quick double. I'm looking for the bigger development. Like, let's get this retested. Let's get another oversold here, maybe in the next 60 days so that we could start to really assess the area where the monster bull bull trend continuation begins. And I think it's, that's it already. So if Workday, if that's your swing decade low, I really think that's a decade low down here around 125. I need to find the next retest because I think what's going to happen with Workday over the next 6 to 12 months is you're going to clear this area and you're going to start to make the attack back to the 886, which is like 300. Take that, put it in your hat, smoke it. Monday.com. This is another obscure software. We want to crush them. We'll check that out. Weekly oversold pattern. Like, there's no other way you're going to decipher this. What does the pattern tell you? It's a signpost of future price action. The pattern's telling me, okay, that's as far as it can go. The alignment, the deep crab is all there. 68.68 was the terminal bar. Then you had an arrow and a dot. There's confirmation. That's your green line. It's up 5 today. I don't care. I'm thinking 173. You're 89.24 right now. That's how the patterns work. That's why it's a big deal. And then even Microsoft. Microsoft was the other one that we nailed last month. Down here, weekly oversold 373. Remember those patterns? It matters. Like this stuff, I don't know. I've been checking out other live streams and seeing what people do. And there's a lot of good methodology out there, but framework of really how to understand price action and where the true support resistance points are. I'm just barking up my own tree, but the patterns, I just think they encompass such an accurate framework. And harmonic optimal price 352.45 on Microsoft, guys. We were talking about that as it hit. What was that back in late June? And we're saying that's it. There's not, below that you'd have a problem, but you're in that zone, and that's how it works. I'm getting that vibe on for gold right now. Okay, and the software stocks, they look like they're setting up not just for a bump, but for larger turnaround after like 2 years. Couple more. Let's keep it rolling. What's going on with you guys today? Sure. Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Lots and lots and lots here. Thales. Let me back up. He wanted to look at GDXJ. That's the junior miners. I still remember my symbols, GDXJ. And I like that. Shark currently nice bump, 96 to 116 or so. I think we looked at this a couple weeks ago. So, again, the larger continuation, and I'm talking about not just a nominal bump like this, and I'll keep that on the radar. Down 4 today, but I want you guys to kind of learn how to project for yourself and understand when we have this stuff, like what I'm talking about are price discovery 1618s. Can we get to back to the 886? I think for gold in general, that's really not a tough call. All the way where we are now, and gold's down 50 today. I'm like, great. Get it down a little bit lower so you get an even better opportunity. But I'll tell you, from here, you're looking to get back to the 886 on that, and then start to do some kind of larger price discovery projection. That's how you should be framing it out. Couple more. Yeah, he does like Adobe. All the way. Greg is not an Elon fan. Come on, Greg. Show me somebody that's got relaunching rockets. I just don't, again, there's a lot there. And I don't think it's even a hard call. Taiwan Semi, what's up? Pickle. Mr. Pickle wants to look at Taiwan Semi. This is what I'm talking about too, right? Taiwan Semi, KLAC, ASML, these are all have been like names and symbols we have talked about in the past, going back since, I don't know how many years we've been doing this stream. And the same kind of a thing. Taiwan Semi, great name. It's always been a great name. But look, monthly, back in 2022, these are the kind of signals that are the massive 2x, 3x, 10x opportunities. All right, that was back in 2022, and it still took time of larger development. What about now? Well, it's you're just still within this trend channel. Taiwan Semi's got a few things back at like 394. Would love to see that back at 325. Retest that shark pattern. And then just continue what this is, which is a long-term generational uptrend channel. And folks need to understand that these are entities that are growing. Okay, you don't have to do much other than be patient and wait for the retrace within the channel. Lay your money down and then watch it double, triple over the next 2 or 3 years. That's the proposition here. I mean, every one of you should pat yourself on the back for looking at charts and getting involved in the market while the rest of your friends are out there drinking and doing drugs and spending money. Seriously. Like, put your future self in the right position where this investment, what you're learning here, harmonic pattern framework, all of that pays off. Future self will thank you. Believe me, I would, guys, if I didn't do the markets, I don't know. I would, I don't even know if I'd be here. All right. I mean, financially, physically, I just, to keep it real, I've seen a lot of shit in my day. A lot of people that are, I've said this before, lost a good friend last month. I've seen a lot of friends go down, never even make it to 50 years old. And what was the thing that they didn't do? They didn't invest in their future self. They didn't keep learning. They didn't focus on a plan that continue to grow themselves financially, personally, longer term. And that's it. The how do you win at life? You have a nice long life, and you're happy. And a lot of that comes down to just investing yourself, being selfish with your own time for yourself, and seizing on opportunities like this, like semiconductors in general, which has been something we have talked about long time. Micron, another semi, okay, up here. Did the reaction. Micron was this. And this is another one where, look, we have patterns. This is a massive pattern on the 4-hour chart. I think this 4-hour pattern of Micron is incredibly significant relative to the daily, weekly trend that started. You go back 6 months ago, that was 300. And it was a 4x in a short period of time. This is still developing. The key level 797, which is, we've talked about why 800 on Micron is so critical, right? You got a little overbought currently. I'm not too concerned about it. I think Micron should be back at 1200 by the end of the year, or new highs. Again, I am not a bear fearmonger here. I am a strong proponent of patiently waiting for these opportunities to come your way, set up, trigger oversold, and then they're going to start to go and grow again. Micron, you're overbought right now. Look, you're coming out of HSI, amplified's back down. Let it come back in here. 820 I think is the big number. What is it? 900 is the XA level. And we're already oversold. 4-hour chart. Micron's already oversold. So today, tomorrow, fine. Let it pivot back out and we go. Look at NASDAQ. Remember what I was saying? 660? It was 662, I think. Now we're trading 600. There's a nice bat pattern, but look, that's what I said when we started today, 662. And there's a nice drop. What was it? It was the 5-second. Check this out, right? Who loves you? 664.75. That's the, if you're a futures trader doing, NASDAQ or S&P 500, this 5-second chart, especially in this choppy, lame ass environment of the summer, there's still opportunities no matter what. That was it right there. I was saying 662. It was 664. There was a couple things. That was 662. The framework matters, folks. You just need to take a little time, get familiar with it on the micro time frame and the longer term time frame, and then the whole chart starts to open up for you. Let's keep it rolling, guys. A couple more. DRAM for Michael Krieger. Welcome back, Michael Krieger. Your Uncle Robbie is a great guitarist, right? You know who I'm talking about? Like, really great. Are you guys related? DRAM on the daily, 4-hour. Well, daily is right back. This is another one. We like this. We like the ETF, okay? Where's the signal? 4-hour chart. It was a new one. That's why my arrow's there. $50 is your hop level. Confirmation is like 48.60. This is just trying to wiggle its way back. Kind of a couple of reactions here. That's all. Let's look for that back at $50 or fill the gap. And then we get back up to like, you need to be thinking this, that, and I'm going to be on record here. You guys hold me to it. What I'm really thinking on a lot of these markets that were high flying, that they're almost done. Like DRAM here, that's Micron and SanDisk and all the ones that got beat up in July into early August. We want these to come down. You want them to stabilize because we are going to get a return move back to retest these all-time highs. 886 area. That firmly is my strategy. Get past the next 60 days. What's going on? PTSP86, hello to you. How you doing today? Don Cristo wants to look at HUT, and I think HUT and IREN are, talk about generational opportunity. Let's go back here, okay? Because HUT, was it HUT? Yeah, HUT was a name that in the crypto cycle 2023, when that bottom, people talked about the miners, MicroStrategy, all of that. Well, they had signals down here. Okay, that was $7 on HUT. And here's just to kind of highlight how we frame out IPOs, and you can do this with any IPO. IPOs they do this from a harmonic basis. They will come out, all right? They'll have some kind of retrace, and then you will go through the first 886 reset cycle. You do that, and then you come back, you get some other signals. That's when real price discovery can happen. That's what happened with HUT. And there's a few of these. I will say IREN was the other one. And look at what HUT did. HUT went to an exact 1618 on this latest monthly move. and now it's retracing. So what's the other framework consideration? Perfect 1618. Well, I'm going to then take that and say, well, 382 is a minimum, and the 382 for HUT is right there. You're at the 382 right now on the weekly, which is like $82. Any confirmation? Not yet. So I'd look at 82. If we really fall apart, 1618 all the way down to 50, but I'm not there yet. I think 82 is a really good number. Give me something here on the daily. I don't have a heck of a lot going on. I don't have any opportunity here where there's a pattern. What's HSI doing? Again, always you have a question of where is the stock up or down. Tell me about HSI for the last 30 bars. It looks like that. So it's, sub 50, let it continue its retrace. 4-hour chart, anything there? Again, we're sub 40 here, but 4-hour chart on HUT 8 Corp does have a couple of interesting things. It's only lower. Look at that fat Gartley. Type 1, type 2, another shark. So as low as like 71.87, but definitely let's get 80 first. And we would start looking at that. I don't have much on the daily. The daily's like this, nothing there. So let it continue its retrace. But what happened before then was perfect, harmonic, beautiful action. The other one is Iron, guys. That's the other one everyone talks about. And this does have a shark right off the top at 28 bucks. The weekly is better. Looking at this back under 39. So you're 42. Let that come in. Again, where's the weekly? Well, okay, HSI is starting to poke above the 50 time frame. That's really the first time since the retest. So, I would be watching these. I would definitely, I think there's some opportunity that will come. I think it's early. Again, next 60 days. You're looking for this retrace, the general strategy, and then when the hell is the market going to get ripping again? I think it's after the next 60 days. So look for these opportunities on these retraces. Yeah, a few more. LHX for Chase Brown. What's up, Chase? Keep it rolling. L3 Harris Tech. That's a great name. That's a great name. And look at that. It's a great pattern. Again, I love the big names that are bigger long-term trend continuations, and then nice type 1 deep crab. Okay, any confirmation? Sure. This is pure framework. Okay, L3 Harris, big aerospace defense, and this is still in a long-term uptrend. The beauty of this is that the deep crab reaction is over. 284. I mean, where you are right now, it's great. End of the reaction. I would be looking for this, the next several weeks, maybe into the end of the year, to get off of 284 and go back and retest that zone. That's pure framework. The other thing that sticks out to me is HSI is above the 50 for the first time. That started like 2 weeks ago. That's a big development. And then the acceleration would really go from there. So that's how you pick out those longer terms setups. But I like that. And Morris Altria MO, that's one of my longer term plays. We're sitting in the face of a couple patterns, but we're oversold. I decided not to sell, and maybe I'm wrong on here, and I'm talking years. I'm talking basis is down here in the 40 something. picking up 7%. It's up a buck today. Dividend yield is dividend 6.63%. So I think reaction wouldn't surprise me. And even if we got to 57.90, I might. I hate the drawdown, but I think my plan would be all right. Let it come back 57, and I'll add more there at 57.90 because I still think this is got long term trend continuation. Their tobacco, domestic U.S. tobacco, it's that one and Philip Morris are the two where you do that reaction, you go back. PM, guys, that's the other. These are old, boring names. Look at that, Philip Morris on a monthly. It's been an amazing runner. Monthly's up here at the hop at 194. I'm gonna follow this. Really interesting to see. Is the hop gonna stick, and is that it? Big question there. Couple more. Let's keep it ready. The VIX. Andrew wants to look at the VIX. I did want to bring up the VIX, Andrew. That's a good one. Really quick on the VIX volatility index. All right. It looks like this. You're at a 1569. We were sub 15. Every time you get under 15, we were 14 earlier this month. That's complacent. Really, usually what that means is that you're due for some kind of larger correction. And then, of course, every time you get above 40, that's where, the fear, some kind of fear inflection comes in. And it does work on patterns. It's just not going to happen all the time. But if you go back here, remember how crazy things were in March and April? Well, just by chance, okay, we had the type 2 at 30. And that came in right at the low, 30.37. So it works both ways. I think it's better as a bear gauge, okay, than trying to pick some kind of bullish turnaround. But I'm watching that. I do think that's an early sign here. There's something going on. Again, embrace the retrace. And I think we will see some kind of retrace over the next 60 days, and the VIX is setting up like that for a return. Couple more. Let's keep it going. SMCI. What's up? Santiago wants to, before I go on, AAOI for Santiago. It's like this, okay? AAOI is another bad pattern applied. Optoelectronics. Love the name. Like that, talk about like a super tech name there. It's a type 1. And we're going to get a dot really soon. It'll be tomorrow. One more bearish day. So the way to look at that, this is reaction written all over it. And then return move back down for 96. That's all. I think that's cooked for now. That reaction's done. But this would then, set something up for, like I said, another 60 days, come back down, retest. It's a longer term. That's definitely has got a lot of potential, but you need to retest on the daily. Couple more. What was it? Oh, SMCI. You guys know that SMCI was something we've looked at. It's massive pattern, right? And I said this before that, this is really starting to set up. I'm no rush on this. I wish we had ideal confirmation after the fact, but we do have it on the monthly, and that's where I would be looking at this. The monthly this month, SMCI, that was like 28, and that was another successful test. This little kind of bust up above the 50, that's all of that. That's why I've got like 4 arrows pointed in this area. telling me that this is early development, but that's what you want to look for. It hasn't even begun acceleration, and I don't think it would even be until next month or October that we break above the 50 level. But once you do break above 50, $52, this whole recovery phase is at stake. And the 2x ETF, remember this, looks like that. It's this is, again, reading the signals early, super early, knowing what needs to happen before the acceleration phase takes hold. But the SMCX has a pattern. Okay, that bigger level and confirmations like 720, 730, currently 1230. I've been trading this a little bit on the 5 minute. That's what you were referring. There's been some interesting dynamics here, even on the 5 minute time frame. Where was SMCI? SMCI had a couple of back-to-backs last week, and it has one right now. Check this out. So SMCI, really nice 5 minute patterns. There you go. Type 1, 36, 88 to 37.50, back down. I mean, ideally harmonic. I would say right now, there's your confirmation. That's probably it for now. But I'm more interested in where this is going to develop the next oversold on like the 4 hour time frame. And I think right now, hop level at 40, just let this come off. We are oversold on HSI. It's like right there. So HSI's got to pop out and then we get going. Hold on, a couple more. 1 second. All right, let's get back to it. Let's do a few more. DDD. We can look at Disney. We got a whole bunch here. Man, you guys have a lot today. DDD, 3D Systems. That's another one. That's a sleeper, but not ready. We said this last week. It had the nice move, 255, but we were looking at a bunch of signals. Overbought. End of the reaction for now. Let me rip through these. Okay, I like that. Really quick. Remember, it's a weekly setup. Look at the pattern. Also a monthly. And we've talked about these monthly signals. This is, I like this, where it is relative in the monthly. The daily needs a retest, though. The type 2 on the daily, get it back to like 250. And then we can consider it one more time. A couple more. App Lovin', APP for Mr. Singh. This was a favorite, and it's gotten crushed. I not really have anything. I would say still down on App Lovin'. Couple more. Great to see everybody. Come on in. Just still a few more people in and out here. Rudy, what's up, Rudy, with the FLO? Flowers Food, I don't know that one. Nice Gartley, or nice grab pattern. But that's got to get out of that zone there. Flowers Food on the monthly. Interesting. Interesting. Rudy, you're going to have to bring that back up to me. Don't let this get above $8 without telling me, okay? But FLO, all right. Couple more. Jack's Machine, TLA. Granite shares for Tesla. We know the story on Tesla, right? Tesla's more about the TSLR or those other instruments that have these secondary big patterns. Weekly, it's like 10 or $12. And I like Tesla long term. It just, we've been waiting all year for that thing to come in. The dot on the weekly. So it's checking back. This is the 2x long on Tesla. It's not 1465. The number is like 12 something. but it is a 2 of 2, and TSLA looks like this. Tesla looks like this. All right, there's a weekly dot. I mean, could we get a monthly dot? Where are we there? No. We're still in that trend retracement. And remember, it was a type 2 at 444, which that's what I said way back. Oh, I don't know, it was the beginning of the year that we hit the 444 deep crab type 2, and we would need some kind of oversold signal like a weekly dot. Well, we got that last week. So it's super early here. And I still say that target 2 at 249 is framework. That's pure framework. T1 to T1 dollar sign, T2 to T2 dollar sign. That's the assumption. So I think we got to respect that. It's still way early, and even if that dot is the end all be all, the way that I look at that is you need to retest the open bar. Like 326, you're currently 337. So wait for that. It is still early. Although that was the signal. That's what I was talking about at 444 when we had confirmation. They said we're probably done for now. The best thing would be to get a quick retrace. Well, it took 8-9 months. Keep it going. Keep it going. Couple more here, guys. Great to see it. STIM. We Jew Jammer. Neuronetics. That was one. I don't know. Were you the one? Somebody brought that up originally a couple months ago. I never heard of that. And when I brought it up, it was back in like March, April. It was probably there at 130, and it went to 3. Why? Because we had all those patterns. So that's, it's interesting. I think that's just a reaction, but, I'm now watching that more closely. That's a whole lot of patterns looking left. These things take time. And you have a bunch of monthly signals that are like 170. So I don't know the real story behind this of like, what kind of product or whatever. But pattern wise, I know a few of you got in on this. Well done. I just think, you're not going to explode just yet. A couple of those that here's another one that I kind of like. T1 Energy. I brought this up. This is kind of the data center play. This is now retracing to where I want to look at $4, 342. That's another similar kind of play because this one went ballistic. And when you go back and look at it, there were some patterns. There's some confirmation. Monthly was there. Again, a monthly signal, amazing. Yeah, that's all good. I like those, Rudy. Yeah, Conagra, CAG. Yeah, I hear you on those. They haven't done anything, though. That's so, Conagra brands, those food stocks. That was like a whole boomer thing. 80s, 90s, amazing stuff. And so is this a generational buy? Not yet. I mean, I'm open to ideas like that, no matter what the name. I think there's, maybe there's something down there. Are you going to get paid on Conagra? Anything. Yeah, you're going to get paid 7.8%, but you got to catch it right. Because getting paid 8% on dividend, if it's going to keep going down 10% a year, that's a problem. You might be at the end of it, though. I would look at that. Couple more. What's up? DJ Dash wants to look at qubits, and I'm going to take my 30 seconds and tell everybody, do your homework on quantum, the quantum theme. I think that is going to set up next year where you're going to hear a lot of people talk about quantum in about a year, probably starting in 60 days again. There's that 60-day thing. But we want stuff like this. Type 2, confirmation, retest at 1650, 17. Okay. get it like that. I mean, this is a massive development with all of those. I mean, I'm looking. I'm really looking for other ideas. I think we're just where we are within the market. You need a little more time. All of it's kind of screwing around. Couple more. You guys are really lots of ideas today. All right, Ursend wants to look at Netflix. That is something that lost its trend about 6 months ago. Was the or beginning of the year, 8 months ago, broke down at 100, and I'm still not there yet. Netflix, generational winner from way back when. The monthly is like this. So if you think Netflix is at a generational cycle low, you still need a dot. And we saw that back in 2022. Okay, massive move to 70 and then all the way back down to 18. That's a 3/4 retracement. But you had signals, you had signs. And I would say you're there too. Like Netflix, again, you got to pop out. You've got more work to do. I would say that's something to look at by in about 60 days. Here we go again with the whole 60-day theme. A lot of these are setting up, but they're not going to be ready till this time come October, maybe even November, but keep it on there. ETH wants to look at Oracle. I'm going to try to speed up here so I can get out and wrap it up. I love Oracle. Is it 140 or is it 120? Because it's once we get through here, it's not going to stay down here. Again, guys, go to HSI, right? Where's HSI? Are we above the 50 yet on the monthly? No. So maybe in a month, but everything you see here on the monthly is checking back, retesting, and I like it. All of that. I mean, again, give me one green month after that retest, and then I got something to go on. And you're looking, thinking, again, the thinking is if you're on a monthly oversold and we're assuming a long-term trend, well, the objective is an 886. I won't even think about anything beyond that, but it's an 886 recovery move. So if it's 140 or 120, I think it's probably like 130 is the number here. Couple more, two more. Disney. Okay, Disney. Speaking of Disney, I think we looked at that last time. What about this? Right? They should be making hand over fist, and their chart looks like that. Nothing. It was another kind of boomer last decade, massive gainer. Went from $20, $25 to almost 200. And look, what did we have here? Deep crab, type 1, type 2, send it down, do nothing for 5 years. Still, is it worth it? HSI is not above the 50. Avoid those. Like you could, it's not a bad idea, but I can't really get any price acceleration. Think of it this way. HSI, a leading indicator, really a character definer, and you get above the 50, that's when price can open up. Beyond that, no, not really. Meta's getting crushed today. That's true. That's true. Meta's Floyd's talking about Meta, but there's big numbers down here. All right, this is the area down here where, well, monthly's not oversold yet. Weekly's back down. That's not a good look. But I thought the daily had patterns at 550. With the prior patterns, yeah. There we go. Okay, so the pattern zone, if this is like Microsoft from a year ago, the patterns were 570. And I'll even stretch it to 520. I think this has been still what we've said all along. And looking for that retrace. You're going to get a diamond dot situation, arrow diamond dot. You're 547. It might be 522. That's okay. Not a biggie. Like I said, 60 days. 60 days. Keep that in mind. Andrew, keep on going. Man, you guys prolific today. Zillow. What about that real estate market? Looks like garbage, right? A lot of ugly statistics about the real estate market. Zillow was 90, now 34, and you're a lot of counter dot signals. So send it back down. What about a weekly? Anything substantial here? Okay. Weekly, big shark. What about monthly? Could this be something? Not yet. Give me a dot down here. Give me a dot. You're 34. You're up a buck today. I'm going to say it's probably back at 29. It's down here. It's low. Like if you're looking for, I get the idea. You're looking for like that generational reset opportunity, but you need a dot. And that's gonna probably be 2 more months, 60 days. Not yet, and that's under 30 for sure. You thought Oracle was a fat finger long? Oracle is a fat finger long after this month. Yeah, that's for ETH. Oracle, definitely fat finger long. But after this month, we talked about that. And I don't think you're going to get hurt. Again, if it's 140, 130, it is because of this. You check back on Oracle, and this is the first green bar that we've seen. Give it time. It's a long-term play, folks. Let's be real about this. Yeah, this is a long-term play. You're looking for this to bottom out here and be a massive continuation within the long-term trend. No doubt. Be clear on what I mean by fat finger long. Any diesel prices going through the roof for PT? He's talking about CLNE. Well, CLNE and these spec low floaters, again, you're looking for some patterns there. You don't really have any patterns there. The daily, does it have anything? Okay. I mean, there's a shark. There's a few things here, but it's not really a trend continuation winner. So I'm going to say I'll pass on that. There was a couple, Plug Power and a few others, but I'll pass on that. Jack wants to look at Ford. I haven't looked at that in so long. Ford's like this. I mean, Ford is, I don't know. I need a minute. Are you going? So, yeah, Ford, I again, I'm looking lower on that. Back at like $8. There's not a lot to offer within this whole. I can't say anything that, hey, that's going to get burning, running, great opportunity, and it's probably get back to $10 here. So look for that. I don't know. The rest of them, guys, Anthony, let's bring T-Mobile back. I do like T-Mobile. That did trigger, but let's bring it back on Thursday, okay? Yeah, that's what I have for today. Guys, get the software. Get on over. Send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. I'm going to announce a promotion, how to get with the software. I will send you that if you're new. I'll send you that coupon. And we're going to get to kicking it up a notch on Thursday, okay? I'm ready to be back into it 100%. Come on back on Thursday, 12:30-ish. Hit like, subscribe on the way out. You get the notifications. Until then, have a great one. As always, go get them, folks, and we'll catch you on Thursday. Thanks for everyone's contribution today. Take care.